In this episode, we are going to talk about my finished socks, the Bella blouse that I'm still working on, as well as a new cast on. Let's get started. Good day everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mariette, also known as die Boervrou, and this is episode 49 of the Crafty Stitches podcast. Today is the 2nd of November 2023 and I'm coming to you from South Africa. So today I am wearing my summer cotton tee that I have knitted without a pattern. I made a gauge swatch, I measured the stitches, and I just basically winged it. I did some A-line shaping and I actually knitted from the bottom up, and all of the details that I have to share about the project is on my Ravelry project page. So that's what I'm wearing today. All of the projects that I will be talking about today will be linked down below, and if I do not show a project, it just means that I did not work on it, or not so much that I can actually show it. So today I have one finished project and 2 whips to share with you. I actually have a 3rd whip, but it's still super secret and I will share that with you in the future. I just wanted to mention it because it does take a little bit of my knitting time as well. But yes, let's get into the projects. So the first finished project that I have for you today is a pair of socks. I have finished the 2nd sock of the pair. These were knit cuff down, and I was at this marker in the previous episode and I finished the foot. So this is the 2nd sock of the pair, and this is the pair of socks. So this pair of socks is a 72 stitch sock, and I made this for my husband. It is made from the Regia Volpla yarn from Schachenmeier, and it is the solid colors, which comes in 50-gram balls, and this is the ball band. It is 75% virgin wool and 25% nylon. And I bought this at Arthur Bales in London. And yes, I knit the first sock, this one, on magic loop, and I knit the 2nd sock with 9-inch circulars. As I said, it's a 72 stitch sock, and I knit it on 2.25 millimeter needles. So it has a 20 round cuff, a 60 round leg, heel flap and gusset in a contrasting color, and then the foot is somewhere in the 80s, the rounds, and then I did the toe that I normally do for my cuff down socks, which is a decrease in one round and a knit in another round until you reach the desired amount of stitches before grafting the toe. So this pair of socks is completely finished. I have weaved in the ends. I can now take out the markers and write it all up in my project book and wash and block it, and then my husband can wear it. So very excited to get this one done. The pair was finished by the 31st of October, but I only crafted the toe this morning. I had such a busy few days, and yeah, I thought I'm not going to get it done, but I finished all of the knitting and then I just finished it this morning. So yes, another pair finished and ready to get worn. I think that was everything for the socks. I think so. Let's move over to works in progress and we will see what is on my needles. Alright, so my first work in progress that I would like to share with you today is the Bella blouse that I am knitting. It is a bottom-up construction and it is knit in the round until you split for the sleeves, and then the front and the back is knit flat and then joined at the shoulders. So this is the progress that I made so far. I have a stitch marker in here. Let me just get my yarn untangled. Right, where's my marker? Aha, got it. So in the previous episode I was at this marker from Annegret from Pincushion Crafts. And then I did all of this knitting. Since the previous episode. I also washed and blocked the garment round about here. And then I discovered quite a few interesting things. So, I have mentioned in the previous episodes that I am knitting size 6 in the pattern, but I discovered that I cast on for size 6 because I wanted to do A-line shaping. So I did some decrease rounds. All of these markers indicate all of the decrease rounds, and I decreased down to size 4. And it seems that size 4 is going to be what I'm going to stick to for the top half of the Bella blouse, and it seems that it's going to be fine. So I'm knitting this on 3.5mm needles with the Cotton Kings yarn from Hobie that I got as a gift from my friend Liani from Independence Yarn Crafts when she was on holiday. And this is the yarn information. And this is the cone. So I'm knitting straight from the cone, and I did do gauge swatches, but I don't think that the gauge that I'm getting currently is matching my gauge swatch, and I had the suspicion that it would not match because the swatch was knit flat and the top half of the garment is going to be knit flat. So I don't think it differs that much, but I cannot really remember off the top of my head. But I have discovered when blocking this garment that my row gauge shrinks. So for every 18 centimeters that I knit in length, I lose 2 centimeters. So after washing and blocking, it is only 16 centimeters. I do get some growing in width. I think before blocking my stitches was 25 stitches per 10 centimeters, and after blocking it was 21.5 stitches per 10 centimeters. That only means that my Bella blouse is going to be a little bit bigger in circumference and measurement than the size 4 in the pattern, because the pattern gauge is 23 stitches per 10 centimeters. And the row gauge is 32 rows per 10 centimeters. And I think I knit, after blocking, I think I got 36 rows in the 10 centimeters, which means I need to knit at least 4 rounds more to get to the same length after blocking. So it's not going to help me much to measure the garment before blocking. So I'm going to work out how much extra I think I need to knit before I split for sleeves, and then I will first wash and block the garment and make sure that it is long enough before continuing past the sleeves, well, past the armholes. And yes, it is very interesting to me to discover these things, and I hope that you learn from it as well. And I am definitely making some notes on this project page of this whole shrinking and widening properties of the yarn and my gauge that goes with it. So I'm definitely knitting a little bit looser than the pattern intended. So I love the drape of this fabric. It is really, really nice and soft, and I think it's going to wear beautifully. Cannot wait to wear this one. Alright, so that is the Bella blouse. I think I said everything that I needed to for this project. And then, if you maybe watched the previous episode, you would know that my friend Leonie from Independence Yarn Crafts and I are hosting a month-long make-along of the Ranunculus for November. So yesterday was the cast-on party. Yesterday was Wednesday, and I cast on my 5th Ranunculus. Alrighty, I have not done much because I actually cast on at the cast-on party last night, and I did the ribbing for the neck. And I did the increase round after the ribbing to get to the correct amount of stitches in the pattern. So I once again decided to do the long tail cast on and not the cast ons in the pattern. I prefer the long tail cast on in the first 3 that I did, and in the 4th Ranunculus I did the tubular cast on, which is absolutely fine, but it is as if the tubular cast on, it just stretches to a certain amount of stretch, and then it is very tight. It is like a little rope keeping it at that size. So I find that it pulls a little bit against my throat, and that bothers me a little bit. Not to the point that I don't wear it. I do wear it quite a lot, but that is not my favorite feature of the pattern. So I decided I'm going back to my long tail cast on. So for this Ranunculus, I'm using sock yarn, which is a 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon blend. It has approximately 366 meters on 100 grams, and it is just plain undyed yarn, which is only washed and bloomed, so I'm not knitting straight off the cone. But I'm doing this garment on 4mm needles, and I did cast on more stitches than the pattern tells you to. I cast on 70 stitches, and then I just fudged the increase round to get to the correct amount for the pattern. So yes, now I can start with the short rows. I'm again going to omit the front short rows and only do the back short rows, but I think I'm going to fudge them a little bit as well. I'm going to bring them around a little bit to about my collarbone here on both sides, and then work back so that they go from here all around back to here instead of just at the back, because I'm not trying to create a boat neck shape. I'm trying to use the short rows so that it brings up the back but not the front. Yes, I think that description makes sense. So that is it for my project, and if you are interested to join us for the make along, I'll be talking about it a little bit in the what's been happening news section, and I'm very excited about this ranunculus. I wanted to try out a wool garment for summer wearing, and I decided on the undyed yarn because I do believe that lighter colors is cooler. I'm not too fond of white garments. If you watched the podcast before, you would know, but I do like the feel of it on my body because it is cooler. So I went with the undyed, and we will see how that goes. But let's move on and talk about what has been happening in the past 2 weeks. So last Sunday, Leonie and I had an episode of Surplus Yarn Stories, which was live on YouTube with our guest Annegret from Pincushion Crafts, and it was very interesting. We learned a lot. She talked about freeform crochet, which looks amazing to me. I have no idea where I would start, but it really looks like a lot of fun. And you can go and check out the episode. I will link it up here for you if you maybe missed that. And if you would like to learn about some other crochet techniques, she was really a lovely guest, and we learned a lot from her. Then, as I mentioned, the Ranunculus make along is currently going on in Instagram. We have an Instagram group for the make along. So if you'd like to join us, just send me or Leonie a DM on Instagram. And it basically just started, so you're more than welcome to join. Whips is obviously allowed. So if you just need a little bit of motivation to finish an old ranunculus lying in the naughty corner, you can just pick it up, bring it, and we will help to inspire you to finish it. So as I mentioned, we have a little Instagram group, and we also do some meetups, and it is a lot of fun. We really love sharing everything that we learn from these ranunculi of ours, and it's fun to have a little community where you can chat and get some tips and tricks on what to do next. I will also be going to the Johannesburg Stoepmark on the 11th of November 2023. So if you are going and you see me, please say hi. I would love to meet you and to have a little chat. And then also the DB Socktober 2023 has came to an end. And I'm a little bit sad about it, to be honest, because I really enjoyed all of the sock making and sock talking. So you don't have to stop that. You can still share some nice sock patterns and some sock talk with me. So yes, that has unfortunately come to an end for this year. I am already looking forward to next year's sock along during Socktober. And yes, I'm definitely still going to do a last episode for the Socktober series. You can keep an eye out for that one. I'm not sure exactly when it will be done, but it is still in the works. So that is it from me for today. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. If you are new here, I hope that you enjoyed this episode and that you will consider sticking around. If you like this episode, please give it a thumbs up. and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see any more of my content. And I will see you in the next one. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye.